I kid you not. The first thing we saw on Smackdown this week was a couple of dudes carrying that lovely looking, not really, big crown jewel belt. But it was in a bag and it looked like somebody had murdered it and we were taking the body out of the building. So I just gotta say this. We have to stop fawning over that thing so much. Also, hello my friends, and welcome to the only wrestling review show you need with I, Simon Miller, the bald idiot. And yes, we just had, I'm gonna tell you, a very good episode of WWE Smackdown. So I'm taking the fop, the finger of power, and the good bits are getting it up. The bad bits are biting it down. Should not have bitten my fop. As ever, we then saw everybody arriving at the show, otherwise how are we going to know they are at work? When we focused in on Randy Orton. Now, he was not in a good mood, because when he was going to the ring, he stopped at the gorilla position and he started yelling at Triple H. I bet he was going, listen, you better not change my theme song, because you've done it to everybody else and it sucks. He was so mad about Kevin Owens, though, he basically got to the squared circle and said, yeah, Triple H, I know you're holding me back. Get your ass out of here. Now the game agreed, and the first thing he said to Randy is, we could have talked about this behind the scenes if you weren't late to work. The funniest thing is, Randy Orton has somehow turned into the Hulk. He was absolutely massive. I mean, no, Triple H isn't a small man, but when you looked at them, you're like, holy crap, Randy is a beast. Randy then totally snapped because he's like, why is management protecting Kevin Owens? When it turned out that wasn't the deal, and the game told him, no, you buffoon, we're trying to protect you. And this was a full-on story because, of course, Triple H has been watching Kevin Owens throughout the years. And let's go through his history. He came in as the prize fighter. He has never wanted friends, and he's always been about business. Then, yeah, he did team up with you, Randy, and he teamed up with Cody Rhodes. And now he thinks you two screwed him over. So he is a super sad and mad panda. Now I think Triple H kind of sided with his boy here. I do get it. Because do not forget, when Kevin Owens was feuding with Roman Reigns, who went and became best buds with Cody Rhodes, Roman basically tried to kill him. Triple H then called Orton a miserable prick, which made me laugh and said, listen, I have talked to KO, and it is not a good idea for you two to scrap right now, because it's going to end badly. Probably for you, Mr. Viper Snake, you had to have metal rods put in your back, you went away for 18 months, and I don't want to see you on the shelf for good. Orton didn't care about any of that, though, and was like, man, who am I speaking to right now? I don't want to talk to Paul Levesque. I want to talk to Triple H, the man who back in the day threw me out onto my front lawn and beat my ass. That did happen, so fair play to Randy Orton. He's a better person than I. If somebody had turned up at my abode and done this to me, even 20 years later, I'd be like, yeah, you ain't getting no Christmas card. Hunters should also know what it's like to have every single thing taken away from you when it comes to this business. So yeah, let Randy Orton run wild and let him beat up Kevin Owens. Otherwise, who knows what's going to happen. Triple H then sold this like the worst idea ever. But you know the deal. If you are trying to argue with a wrestling authority figure, just kind of yell in their general direction for a while. They will change their mind. That's what the game did. It's like, all right, fine, you two could fight a crown jewel. We definitely didn't do this. It is very good though, because it's super duper intriguing. It's almost like Triple H knows something that we don't know. And also, if we are going to do this at a pay-per-view, premium live event, Kevin Owens has to win. If that happens, I will do the dance of joy. I love that guy, but yeah, in terms of making you want to see something happen in a wrestling ring, let's get it up. When we got the good and the bad, all the ups and the downs. Shouldn't have said it. Now, on the one hand, everyone and their dog saw this coming, so we shouldn't be that upset. But we did get to Game 7 between Andrade and Carmello Hayes. And do you know who the winner is? Disappointment. I hate that guy. Or essentially, we didn't get any type of winner, because of course LA Knight was the special guest referee. So if you are a nerd fan, once again, you could see this coming a mile off, because you don't make La the special guest referee unless some shenanigans were going to go down. LA Knight also kept his belt on when he was doing the officiating, which made me laugh. And of course, Carmello Hayes and Andrade just went nuts as they always do. I honestly could watch them until the end of time, or in a best of 7 series that we didn't know was a best of 7 series because it basically came out of nowhere. We also had a bunch of surprise pins to start with some 1-2-oohs. I guess because both of these guys thought Knight may be a bad referee, so maybe they could get one. When Hayes threw Andrade into barricade, so Mr. Tranquilo came back, he chopped him. Carmelo then fell to the outside. For some reason, LA Knight was like, listen, Andrade, you better not dive on that guy. I was like, what are you doing, LA? It's 2024, and Andrade knew this, so he jumped over Knight and he hit Carmelo. And thank goodness for that, because how else are we going to trigger the commercial break if we don't get a dive? Yep, that's exactly what happened. As always, it served as the most powerful force in all of sports entertainment, because when we did return from the adverts, these two basically killed each other with a Spanish fly. So good grief, commercial break. You need to calm down. You wanted to see death. Carmelo got the better of that though, I suppose, because he got up and hit that awesome twisting face buster thingamajiggy does. When Andrade went for the message, but instead he hit this amazing looking destroyer, 1-2. Now the kick out here was so vicious, accidentally, but maybe on purpose, LA Knight got crushed. And by that point, he was totally pissed off, and everybody kind of got into it. Because when we were getting some pins, LA was in the corner, which of course annoyed Andrade, and it especially annoyed Melo, because he went to super kick Andrade, but he hit LA Knight instead. Or maybe he was happy with that to begin with, you just don't know. Hayes then basically had Mr. Tranquilo down, but it didn't matter, because LA Knight went BFT for you, and he essentially walked off. So I was like, well, who's the winner? The answer was there wasn't one. I mean, Knight even grabbed the microphone and said to hell with Game 7, which is a really bad idea, because of course La is always over. But even here, you can hear it in the stands. The fans are like, okay, well, I guess I understand why you did do that, but I really would have liked to finish. My favourite part as well is that in the fictional record books, I guess it's going to say match ended after the referee went insane. And later on, of course, LA Knight bumped into Nick Aldis, who went, thanks for doing that, you absolute idiot. But now at Crown Jewel, we're gonna do the three-way. So of course it works in terms of the story, and that will be a great match, but I was still disappointed, and disappointment does get you a down. But in terms of the match up until that point, it's going to get it an up. Andrade and Carmello Hayes should basically get married, because my gosh, they have good chemistry. So always remember, both these things can be true, and that's totally fine. When we cut to Nia Jax, and Tiffany Stratton was back, and she was like, I'm so sorry I missed last week. And Nia basically went, yeah, you're an absolute numpty. Tiffany was happy to take on Naomi to make up for this, and Jax was like, nah man, I've got somebody else to do that, because she beat Bayley last week. That's right, it's Candice LeRae, and Candice is now full of confidence. Which actually was going to turn out to be an error. Because she did walk to the ring to take on Naomi, and she lost. Whoops. But I tell you, it is very nice to have LeRae back on TV properly. For a while, she actually just vanished. Now, this was all really smart too, because of course, we're now planting more seeds so that when Tiffany Stratton does cash in on Nia Jax, it makes all the sense. And in terms of Candice versus Naomi, sure, maybe at the start it was a little bit squiffy, but when they got going, I thought this was a really good television match. It really made me laugh as well, because the way Naomi stopped Candice was by booting her in the head, when LeRae was like, all right, fine, I'm gonna hit the spam button on the crossbodies. I mean, whatever works. Naomi then got the bulldog, which is when Candice was totally done, so she threw Naomi into the ring apron. Listen, I checked, I did my research. That's the hardest part of the ring. The most powerful force in all of sports entertainment was them back, because the commercial really helped Naomi, and she was back on top when we did return. Do you know what LeRae did? She pulled Naomi's hair. And I've spent the last few hours trying to empathize or sympathize with that, and I can't. I don't have any hair. We then got some more bulldogs, so you need to work that pooch, when Indy Hartwell decided, oh man, my friend is in trouble here. So she just started to get involved. Because why not? Because yes, she threw Naomi into the ring post, when Bayley proved she's a really weird person, because as soon as this happened, her music played and she came to the ring to make the save. And I was like, wait a minute, you were just hanging out backstage. If you actually thought some shenanigans were gonna go down, why didn't you walk out beforehand? It also made me laugh because Candice LeRae could not handle the fact that another wrestler was outside the wrestling ring that she was in being a wrestler. When she turned around, Naomi hit her finish, 1, 2, 3. So we're probably gonna have to start a counter for that at some point, because I am a nerd, and I am very intrigued to see what we're going to do with Naomi. I mean, she has fought Nia Jax, but it kind of feels like she's gonna have to fight Nia Jax again. But all this worked. I'm enjoying the relationships. When we got to the second hour of Smackdown, and here came Cody Rhodes, big pop. Well, it wasn't a bigger pop as you would expect, because just as the fans were about to go, whoa, Gunther's music played, and he interrupted. He is such a wonderful bad guy. The ring general took control of this segment too, because he was like, oh, Cody, what do you want to talk about? And he was laughing the whole time, like he'd come up with the best joke in the world. So I'm just gonna tell you, I love Gunther. Rhodes did have an answer to this, because he wanted to know why Gunther wanted to win that Crown Jewel Championship. The ring general said, well, mostly because the Saudi Arabia pay-per-view is nothing more than a cash grab. He didn't say that. Can you imagine? Instead, he doubled down on the fact that Cody keeps wasting his time. Like, why were you talking about your daughter last week? And let's face it, you did finish your story this year, and it was a big tribute to Dusty Rhodes. And now I think you, sir, are a little bit lost. Gunther then flipped all of this on a dime too, because he was like, I'm so bored of listening to you, Rhodes. I mean, recently you've been talking about doing the John Cena schedule because you have no legacy of your own, so you have to copy everybody else's. He then doubled down on what he talked about before and said, Cody, you're so dramatic. Why the hell do you keep on doing this? And let me ask you the question, why do you want to be the Crown Jewel champion? Probably because you want to do it for all these stupid fans. Well, why don't you forget about them and give me a real response? Of course, Cody went into proper babyface here because he was like, man, we can't forget about these people because without them, we'd be nothing. And that's something you probably should remember. Bless Rhodes as well, though, because he then started talking about how, well, you think I'm dramatic. And I am dramatic, but there's nothing wrong with that. And I was like, you know what? You're right. It's like when people go, oh man, this guy is so sensitive. Who cares? People are allowed to be sensitive. Why don't you just be nicer to them? He then fired back that Gunther may be the champion and may be great in the ring, but he doesn't understand the responsibility. This is when Gunther just cooked his ass. It was like, oh man, what an absolute joke. Just because you run around and doing all these things means nothing. And do you want to know why I don't do them? Because I just say no. I say no to you. I say no to the boss. I say no to all of them because I've got balls and you don't. Once again, best heel. It all comes down to the fact, as far as he's concerned, it's because Cody's gutless. Turns out you shouldn't say that to the American Nightmare. He was like, dude, I am full of guts. I've got guts coming out of my asshole. And you know what also takes guts? Punching you in the face. And he did. Of course, Ludwig Kaiser was just waiting to be reverse Batman because he came out to stop Cody Rhodes doing this when Randy Orton joined in too. If you can believe it, on next week's episode of SmackDown, we are doing that tag team match. It feels like a big deal. There was more here too, though, because of course at one point Randy picked up that championship and looked at it like it was the One Ring. But I thought all of this was so good, especially because when it does come to that Crown Jewel match, it has come out of nowhere, but they are doing their best. I mean, I've talked about the reasons I don't like it, but let's focus on the good stuff. They've made it feel like a pretty big fight. So in terms of smashing it on this night, they shall give it an up. There's a rumor out there that Goldberg may be involved at the pay-per-view, and you know what? Just do it. I am Dr. Robotnik. Bring me the chaos. Everybody in the women's tag team division was then just yelling at each other, as every single show's general manager was here, and the reason for that is because at the pay-per-view, we're now doing a big old women's tag team title match. Why not? So it shall be Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair taking on Damage Control, taking on Chelsea and Piper, taking on Lash legend Jakara Jackson. And if you want to go, wait a minute, at least one of those teams has already had their shot, well, you would be right. But sometimes I'll take what I can get. This feels like the most focused WWE has ever been on those championships. Keep it going. When this show went nuts, I love it. Because it was the Motor City Machine Guns versus DIY to see who was going to become the #1 contenders for the men's tag team titles. And let's just take a moment to enjoy this. There was a time in the history of WWE when Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin never would have been in this position. And it made me feel warm and fuzzy in my tum-tum to use the wrestling catchphrase, they deserve it. Gargano and Shelley started off, which was totally surreal, as it was when Ciampa and Sabin tacked in. And I should have gone and got some popcorn during this, because I was like, I actually don't care what happens, I'm just going to have the best time. DIY within the first team to get their double team moves in, I suppose because they've been there longer, when we got a meet in the middle. But can you believe it? It came from the Machine Guns. They know the playbook. Gargano then speared Chris as Ciampa went and worked over Alex for a little while. And as soon as DIY were on the up, they got struck by the most powerful force in all of sports entertainment, the commercial break. Because as soon as we came back, the Machine Guns had found their fire. When all four of these guys basically did a big old four-way move, I took a minute and I was like, yep, that was totally bonkers. Somehow Johnny then hit the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, the surprise roller for a 1-2-0, when Tommaso got in and they hit an assisted fairy tale ending, and we were getting near falls out the windware. We also then got a meet in the middle attempt by DIY, when it was just you try and pin me and I'll try and pin you, and my nan is here and she's trying to pin everyone. When the worst thing happened, Johnny Gargano threw a kick that was super, and he accidentally hit Ciampa. Oh no! Shelley didn't care about that at all, so they quickly did the tag to get Chris Sabin in there when they hit their finish, which is called Skull and Bones. And can you believe it? They got the 3 count. The Motor City Machine Guns are the new #1 contenders. We also saw DIY arguing outside the ring, obviously, and maybe that's going to tie to something. When the Bloodlines music hit, I was like, man, you've got to give me a second. This is totally out of control, but I tell you it's getting it up. All of it was just so good, though, which was also the same for what came next. Because Nick Aldis was out going, man, you all need to calm down, when Solo Sikoa took the mic. It's like, don't worry about it, brah. I ain't here to do anything stupid. And actually, could everybody please acknowledge me? This is what he does. He is just a wonderful goof, though, and I'm a huge fan of him. And this is when Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin introduced themselves to the Bloodline and said, you know what, we'll take you on anywhere, anytime. This is when Sikoa was like, oh, I see, you want to make an impact. And he laughed at his own joke. I don't get the hate, man. I am a Solo Sikoa guy. Of course, he then told the Machine Guns, well, why don't we do this right now? Nick was like, nah, dude, I know the journey that these two have been on, and you're not going to come out here and bloodline their ass. Well, he didn't say that. Sounds like the worst thing ever. Nobody wants to bloodline somebody's ass. The thing is, though, Alex then took the mic and he was like, Nick, you are correct, but we didn't come this far to all of a sudden drop the ball. So if they want to push the go button right now, well, we're good to go. And can you believe it? We're doing the tag team title match. Where'd that come from? Now, I'm not going to go through it like I usually would do too, because there are 2 points that we absolutely need to hit on. Now, number 1 is that the Machine Guns did win this, and they are the brand new WWE Tag Team Champions. And again, if you have followed their career, you know how surreal this is. I also love the fact the whole time the commentators were saying how influential they have been on the tag team division. And no, to address the big criticism, I don't think this was too far. I mean, if you are fans of Shelley and Sabin, you are probably now doing the Dance of Joy. And if you're not, do you know what the message you just received was? You should care about these guys, they're really good, and now that they're flipping champs. That's how you should push new people. Also, my number 2 point is that all of this did tie into the Bloodline saga. And here we are 4 years later, and that's never going to end. And it's still really damn good. Now, at one point, Jimmy Uso turned up on the outside in a hoodie, because WWE loves that piece of clothing, and he took out Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu, because they were being dickheads, when Roman Reigns' music hit. And he is the worst person in all of wrestling when it comes to making a save, because he always waits for his theme to drop before he does get to the ring. I was like, listen here, original tribal chief, you need to be faster. You have too much hesitation. Now, these 4 did fight to the back, which is when Tama, Tonga, and Tangaloa basically used the referee as a human shield. When they were like, we don't care about the rules. We're going to go get some chairs. And damn it, we're going to use them. Now, this is when another hooded man turned up, and I don't think it was Drew McIntyre. And after he had taken out all these guys and hit them with chairs and smashed them with spears, he did reveal himself. Talk about a massive reaction, and I once again was doing the Dance of Joy because it was flipping Jey Uso. It also meant the door was open, and this is when the Machine Guns did get back into the thing. They hit that Skull and Bones, and the referee counted 1, 2, 3. Honestly, I screamed like some kind of wolf that had been hit by a car. We got brand new tag team champions. I'm gonna say it again, they absolutely deserve it. Now, the real genius of all of this is that everything Roman Reigns did talk about is true. All this family bickering is destroying the family. I mean, look what's happened in the last week alone. Jey Uso has lost his championship. Now the Tongans have lost their championship. Back in the day, Jimmy Uso, he got injured. And Solo Sikoa may be walking around going, I'm the tribal chief, but deep inside, he's really sad. There was even more here in case you did just want to fall on the floor, because after the fact, Jey Uso was in the ring and Jimmy Uso came out and these two just hugged. Now, there was a tiny part of me that was like, man, that really did happen fast. Within 3 weeks, they're back together. But I take that and I throw it out the window because I had water coming out my seeing devices, to use that stupid word from social media, cinema. The funniest bit too is that Roman was watching on from the entranceway and his facial expression was just like, well, don't really know what to do in this situation. Kind of need to show some emotion here. Maybe I need to rethink my life. So this had real gravitas, or as much gravitas as anything on wrestling can have. And this was a terrific end to SmackDown and ticked so many of my boxes, I got no choice it doesn't just get an up, it gets the golden up, which of course these days is the wibbly wobbly invisible hand. But I tell you, if something within sports entertainment deserved it, it's absolutely this. So honestly, even if SmackDown had been absolute pap for an hour and 20 minutes, ending with this would have put it over the top. But actually, the whole episode is well worth your time. Which of course means it's now time for you to get in the comments and let me know what you thought about WWE Smackdown. And also, there are spoilers out there for next week, and you are going to be having an even better time. Like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Click the video on the screen, which is ups and downs of Raw, so you can get all my opinions on WWE wrestling. But otherwise, my friends, enjoy this weekend, and I'll see you soon.